This is the plaintiff, Craig Dixon. He says he was riding his bike and the reckless defendant driving his car smacked into him, sending him flying. He got pretty banged up, but luckily nothing serious. His bike, however, didn't fare so well. The defendant refuses to buy him a new one, and he's here today seeking justice in the amount of $550 for a new bike and pain and suffering. This is the defendant, Joseph Rubino. He says the plaintiff was riding his bike on the sidewalk, for goodness sakes. Drove the thing right into his door as he was exiting a parking lot. And now the guy wants him to buy him a new bike? Are you serious? The mishap was 100% the plaintiff's fault. He is accused of banging a biker. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $837.28 for car repairs.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff was riding his bike when the defendant crashed into him in his car. The bike is ruined and the defendant won't pay. But the defendant says the plaintiff slammed into him. It's the case of Bike Me.
Douglas Craig Dixon.
Yes.
You are suing Joseph Rubino for $550 that you say he owes you in damages for crashing against you while you were on your bike. You have a counterclaim against him for $837.28 to repair your car. What happened?
Well, on August 29th, I was riding my bicycle down on the sidewalk.
Are you allowed to be on the sidewalk?
In that town, I did check, and yes, I am.
Lots of towns you're not, right?
Correct.
Okay, go on.
As I was approaching the business that he was leaving,
what's the business?
Exit entrance, CVS.
Okay, you're approaching the driveway of the CVS,
Right.
which is the way cars leave the parking lot and go into the street.
Right.
That's entrance and exit. Okay.
Yes. And I, noticed that the car was coming out, and as I was coming down the sidewalk, I was using my handbrake on my bike, but to no avail. I didn't stop in time, and I bumped into his car.
But how come you didn't stop in time when you saw him?
I didn't have enough stopping room to.
Why weren't you slowing down if you were approaching a driveway?
I was. There's just there's a decline on the
Okay.
road and sidewalk. So as I approached it, still braking as much as I can, and I just tapped into the car, and he must have got startled, and he ran his vehicle over my bike and across the pike.
Okay, hold on. Come on over here. Perfect. And show me what happened with the cars.
This is me.
Why are there two cars there?
I don't know.
But get rid of the other car so I don't
This
get
might have been
confused.
parked
I'm a
like here or
simple
something.
woman. Okay. All right.
So he's across, and I'm seeing it
How many feet away is your vehicle, your bicycle?
10 yards from
10 yards away.
And as I'm coming down, I see it. I'm handbraking on my bicycle, and I just didn't stop on it.
So why are you suing him? You're just describing something that, like, I'm trying to brake, but I'm going too fast.
Well, there is
all
a
those
stop
yards.
sign coming out of the CVS onto the pike.
Okay.
According to the police report, he did not stop at the stop sign.
Okay, but you see him, you apply your brakes, and
Right.
you are going too fast. You don't have a chance to stop. You hit his car, so hit his car there, and now what happens?
When it hit, and I fell off,
Okay.
he ran over the bike.
Is that what happened, or you're not sure?
Yeah, it must have went under the car, and
Okay.
and as that happened, he went across the street over the curb on the other side.
Okay. Do you think he saw you coming?
I don't believe so.
Okay, can I have you go ahead and come back? And do we have Google Earth there so I can see what the signage is?
I do have pictures, Your Honor.
Yeah, let me see the pictures. Can we zoom in? Sir, can you tell from this, can you take a look at the screen and tell me which entrance or exit was it?
This is where I'm coming down. I see him out this area here on the sidewalk.
The first time you see him, he's on the sidewalk?
Yes.
I mean, when you say on the sidewalk, he's in the driveway waiting to get on the pike.
Right.
Okay. And where's the stop sign there? Excuse me.
Right here. Right in this area.
So where's the stop sign? Do you have a picture of it?
These?
Is that stop sign, when did you take these pictures?
It's date on the picture.
Okay, that stop sign's facing who?
No, but pedestrians, I guess.
Pedestrians.
Right, but it's not supposed to be like that, Your Honor.
Okay, so wait, how does this help your case? And this stop sign appears to have been hit.
Right. Here is a picture a week later of the stop sign.
Who's that stop sign facing?
Into the CVS parking lot.
But where, and it's right at the edge of the Pike, which is exactly where his car was. What did he do wrong? What happened? Let me hear from you.
Well, pretty much what Mr. Dixon related, except one major omission.
So can you legally ride a bike on the sidewalk?
No,
Why not? Why do you suppose?
because it's for pedestrians, not for bicyclists.
But isn't a bike between a car and a person walking?
Yes,
Well, which is closer, a car or the person?
car.
Because
It's dangerous and it's
I'm buying what you're saying. I'm buying it. Going inside the courtroom.
He has himself headed in the wrong direction on his bicycle.
Okay.
He was headed northbound on a southbound sidewalk.
Like this?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then your car's here?
Yes,
He
Your
hits the
Honor.
passenger side?
Yes, Your
Does
Honor.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that's actually what you said here.
okay.
The stop sign itself is at the curb level where I was stopped.
Right. The stop sign's not behind, which of course then you can't see the Pike, you can't see the highway traffic. So
Well,
when,
now-
when did you first realize there was going to be a problem?
When I heard the impact and saw Mr. Dixon sliding off of my car.
Signing off of the top of your vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then your response was to do what?
I started out across the highway. I was getting
Why?
ready to pull out. I was startled, just as he said.
Right.
And he was clear. I didn't know for sure he was clear, but I was getting ready to make a right.
I don't know. It sounds to me like the safest thing to do is just stay put and not
Well, if
move.
I-
Why would you
yeah.
move after that? What if you
No,
run over him?
I didn't want to pull over. I didn't want to pull out. It was happening. I was starting to make my right-hand turn.
You
when
were
he
already
hit-
doing that, and then it all happens at the same
No, I
time.
had my foot up, coming from the brake onto the gas. He
Okay.
hit me.
Well, you didn't flee, though, did you?
Oh, no. I went across the street, came out, and checked with Mr. Dixon, tried to check with him, but he was a little upset,
all right.
understandably.
Okay. And then we call the police. The police come. They offer you an ambulance.
Right.
You say you don't need one or you don't want one or whatever.
I was shaken up, Your Honor, but I was okay. I had some few skin scrapes above my knees and one of my forearm.
What is this? This stop sign, is this from your accident?
That's pictures I took, Your Honor.
Yeah, but is it from your accident,
Yes,
do
it
you
is.
think?
Yes, it is.
Did you hit the stop sign when the
No,
bike hit you?
The sign, as indicated on the accident report, was already down.
Oh, it was already down? Can I
Yes,
see
it
the
was.
accident report?
Yes.
Do you recall whether you ran over the bicycle after the
I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm sure I did is because there's a piece of molding that is missing from the bottom of the car underneath.
Vehicle 1, that's you, was exiting the CVS pharmacy parking lot. Vehicle 1 was coming to a stop at the exit. The stop sign was found to be leaning over in a defective manner prior to the crash. And of course, everyone knows you have to stop when you're approaching oncoming traffic. So you were stopped. His testimony is you were stopped. You were stopped before the point of the stop sign. As he moved forward, Bicycle 1 ran into Vehicle 1. Bicycle 1 related that he was riding on the sidewalk and was struck by Vehicle 1 as it failed to stop at the stop sign. All right, so let's assume the truth of everything you said, which is exact. I mean, your stories don't vary in the slightest, really. And so what did he do wrong that would make, I'm sorry for the accident. I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that your bike got damaged. But tell me why he must pay you.
Well, he was blocking the sidewalk.
He's not blocking the sidewalk. What is he supposed to do? Go real fast so he's not blocking it? Because that's illegal. Go over it in like a hovercraft? Because that's impossible. So your testimony is he is stopped blocking the sidewalk, which is the exit to CVS.
Right.
He is in the exit to CVS. He's not blocking it, he's using it. And there is absolutely no evidence to suggest what you're saying, which is he was supposed to stop inside the parking lot as opposed to at the Pike, because the stop sign is inches from the Pike.
Right.
So tell me what he did wrong. You can't.
Right. Well, he was blocking the sidewalk and
Can you tell me how he can have done it differently? What should he have done that he didn't do and a responsible driver would have done?
Before the sidewalk.
And do what?
Wait for people pedestrians to walk by. And
Why don't you just watch what you're doing next time?
I am. I do.
Yeah, but watch what you're doing more. Because the injuries that you could have sustained could have really polished you out.
Right, I understand that.
So you need to be maybe a little more careful, particularly when you're driving on the sidewalk. So consider yourself lucky and consider the penalty of not having ridden your bike a little more carefully to be the fact that you have to pay the money to restore your bike. Now we have a very unfortunate thing for you, which is that because you sued him, he now filed a counterclaim against you. And I have to, if I find that it's not his fault that it happened, whose fault is it? Okay, so you have damages to that car, which you've ended up paying for yourself because you didn't want to claim it on insurance, because you have a $1,000 deductible.
$500
deductible, and it was an $800 repair. And so, may I see the pictures of the damage to the car?
Your Honor, may I say something? I believe I didn't, cause that much damage to the vehicle.
Okay, what am I seeing there?
The adjuster, when he came out to look at it, said he believed it was the bicycle's pedal gouging into the side of the car.
It's not an unreasonable estimate. I find in favor of the defendant in this case in the amount of the $837.38. I'm very sorry, my hands are tied. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, the plaintiff loses his case and the defendant collects against you on his countersuit. What's your feeling coming out here?
Yes, I mean, I will be more careful, as the judge said, and, I just have to look out more as far as, I'm riding my bike.
You feel fortunate that you weren't more seriously hurt?
Yes, I am. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been hospital bills, and, I feel that she did make the right decision to a point.
You got a new bike? You still riding around?
Not yet.
Okay. You just head right around the corner this way, okay, and sign your documents on the way out. And that gives us a chance to get your comment on winning on this countersuit.
Well, I honestly expected to. I mean, everybody has a right to bring their case to court, but I didn't see where people have to be responsible for their own actions, and he was just wrong.
Yeah. Could you have been a little more empathetic to him at the scene afterward?
Well, he was pretty upset and yelling at me for not stopping and telling him about the stop sign. It was before the stop sign, so I was a little empathetic. I even offered to ride him home in my car with his bicycle because it wasn't drivable.
What do you think, Harvey?
The fact is, in almost all jurisdictions, and this does vary city by city, bicycles are considered vehicles and they have to abide by the rules of the road.